Sample number 1 for one-dimensional array initialization during declaration. So let's have, for example, we want to initialize the values of sales with 23.5, 45, 4.55, 5.50, 78.8, 98.7. So how are we going to do that? Since we have already the values, so we're going to declare it during the declaration statement. So in this case, I'm going to count first the size of the array. So I'm going to make use of const. And then I have int, and then I'm going to use size equals. Then I'm going to count the size of the array. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 5. Then I'm going to make use of another declaration. So since the sales contains components with fractional or decimal places, I'm going to make use of double for the declaration of the array. So let's say, for example, the array name is sales. Then I'm going to have the subscript. And then I'm going to make use of the size. And then equal sign followed by the curly braces and then semicolon. So within the curly braces, I'm going to assign the values we want to initialize. So this is 23.45, comma, 4.55, comma, 5.50, comma, 78.8, comma, and then we have 98.7. So make sure that the size is equivalent to the components within the curly braces. So if the size is 5, take note that or make sure that the elements or the components are also 5 here. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next, we need to have the declaration for the index. So I'm going to make use of int I for the index. So index will be the variable to be processed within the looping statement. So now, since we have already the value of sales, we are not going to ask the user to prompt or enter values. Instead, we're going to display only the values of the sales. How are we going to do that? In the executable statement, we're going to make use of the for loop and then use I for the index. And then we are going to start it with 0, semicolon. I is less than the size, which is 5, and then I plus plus. But if we want only to display the values of sales, since we already initialized the value of sales, I'm going to use cout, less than sign. Then I'm going to make use of a string sales values are, and then semicolon. I can put this on top of the for loop instead of within the loop. So I'm going to use cout here. And then I'm going to make use of the name of the array named sales, then the subscript. Within the subscript, if I want to access the entire elements from 23.45 up to 98.7, I'm going to make use of I, semicolon. So let's just run the code. Initially, this will be the output. So values are 23.45, but if you're going to make look or take a look at the output, there are no spaces. So we're going to make use of option 1 and option 2 for the spaces. For the spaces, we can use double quote, space, double quote, let's run this, so that we have already a separator of space for each values. Or we can also use set W syntax. So how are we going to make use of set W? We're going to put it first before the output of sales. So I'm going to use set W less than sales. And set W contains one parameter, so it should have a parenthesis. So let's say, for example, I want to use 5, okay, or I want to use 7. So if I'm going to run and execute that, set W means set with. So if you're going to make use of set W and then a parenthesis, you need to use IO money. So if I'm going to run that, what happened will be there will be spaces for each. So if you're going to take a look at the output, there are already spaces. So that's set W. Now, what if I omitted the size here? Is this still works? Yes, it will work. Why? We have initialization here. Okay? So if we have initialization during the declaration, it will still work and display the entire values of sales.